that. But what I and my husband, what we love and what we cherish and what we respect most about this gentleman is the fact that he is a servant leader. And I want to properly introduce to you my mentor, the person who is the VP of our leadership development of BYLD, Mr. Samuel Bean.
Hey, how we doing today?
Hello, sir. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, Sabrina, I appreciate you guys. That's Sabrina out of Houston, Texas, one of our rising stars. And I can just say you'll look to hear a lot from her and her partner, Eddie. These guys are climbing up the ladder. Guys, get yourself something right with something right on. We're going to have a power hour here today. And but before we do, obviously we gotta really give some people the just dues and respect that they deserve. Definitely want to say thank you to Mr. Winston Navarro for again being, as the CEO, bringing this opportunity to us. I also want to make sure I thank the president, J.C. Rangel himself as well for again with Mr. Navarro and bring this thing to the table with us, with them as partners, as well as the Pacheco's, Daniel and Mrs. Pacheco as well, just doing some really big things. And so we have some top-notch people here at the helm of the company. I always want to make sure we pay our respects to them. I also want to make sure that we look at other people who are part of the leadership panel who are doing dynamic things as well, like Mr. Ed Ayala, Mr. Julio Aquino, and then over on the water side, Rain H2O, we got Mrs. Kim being the director of operations, and Mr. Ovi. Again, Ovi1 is what I call him. He's a bad man. And so, guys, don't sleep on that water money, guys. You got a lot of people out here. Y'all don't hear from them because it's a solar dominant company, but you got people out there making $800, $1,500, $2,000 a deal, and the water deals are coming in real fast, and they paying off. They paying off like the racetrack. So, with that being said, definitely want to make sure we get yourself something right with something right on, something to type on, whatever. Make sure you make your last minute text messages to your team members so they can jump on and get what you're about to get. Okay. And we're going to go into 2025, on a high note, right? With great expectations. And one, I want to give a shout out to, the 100 people that we had, on the call on Saturday, guys. We had a boot camp. We had a 4-hour boot camp on Saturday, and it was lit. And I'm gonna just tell you, the training was cool, but the impact was the deal. That last hour of that event, where everyone else took over the training, gave their nuggets and really talked about their impact and their breakthroughs. If you missed it, you missed something special. Yeah, and that's why we say never ever miss an event that you qualify to attend. And if you can qualify to attend an event, do so because you have no idea what value is going to be brought to the table. Okay, so for those who are in the WhatsApp group, you kind of got an idea that something special happened, and because you guys got a chance to see all the text messages, you got a chance to see all the messages, and some people who survived the Builders Boot Camp, they let y'all know. So make sure that you guys do not miss it. Want to make sure we're on Facebook. Great, we're on Facebook here. Thank you, Juan. And so let's go ahead and get this show on the road. So first, definitely want to say, when it comes to companies like this, guys, and we have huge goals, we have huge dreams. We want to make sure we become huge people. And when you look at your financial thermostat, um, your financial thermostat will determine, where you end up at, economically, where you end up at when it comes to how much money you make, how much value you bring to the table, what your net worth is, right? And so, a really good gauge on that is by identifying what level of leadership that you're at, right? And so when it comes to the level of leadership, there are 5 different levels of leadership. And, you guys have heard this training, especially if you've been in network marketing before, but everybody has their different spin on it, right? Everybody has their different perspective on it. And, I can just tell you, it's come from, one of the world's most renowned leaders and experts when it comes to leadership, Mr. John C. Maxwell. And so But these 5 levels of leadership, guys, at the end of this thing, you're gonna ask yourself, what level do I believe that I'm at? And I'm gonna get back to that a little bit later. But the first level and the lowest level in this situation, guys, is the position-based leadership. Okay. This is when it comes to what we talk about rights, right? And people. This is where people, follow you, because they have to at this point. And don't get it twisted. This is where everybody who becomes the leader, this is where they start at. But some people, they end up here and they stay here. They stay parked here. They unpack their bags here because you have some people who, I say they were bullied in school, right? And now they get a chance to be the boss. Now they get a chance to tell people what to do. They get a chance to push people around, right? And but this is where you can influence the act based on the position, but you can't influence the person because you are a positional individual. So when you have a job, a person will be there and they'll put up with your mess because you're the manager, you're the director, you're the supervisor, you're the boss, right? Based on position, you got there first, and that's all it really means. And they're gonna deal with you because they have to pay bills. But when you're in a company, high ticket sales, network marketing, any type of sales oriented company where a person can up and leave because there's another company out there just like it, you're where you're welcome then. Right. And I'm just tell you right now, this is kind of like the lightning in the bottle effect. People will get in, they'll respect you for a little bit. And when they see that you're not moving, they move. Doesn't mean that they move companies. Doesn't mean that they move, groups. They just move when it comes to who they choose to follow. They now look around you or above you, and they start to find somebody who moves at a higher level of leadership, right? Okay. So again, this is where you understand that you have a volunteer army, and before you get the big head and real and say, what, I'm gonna build a 500, I'm gonna build a 1,000, I'm gonna build a 2,000. They gotta follow me. Well, they don't. Okay. It's just like a church. You see people leave different pastors in different churches every day, right? They leave different ministries every day because, again, churches are volunteer armies. You have some music ministries, and people may want to be a part of the financial ministry. You have some medical industries or health and wellness ministries where people might want to be, a part of some other type of ministry. But people leave organizations every day, and don't think that they will not leave yours. Okay? You have 0 employees here, right? This is not a plantation. There are no whips being cracked here. Nobody has to follow you based on your position. Okay. But this is where, and that's the thing about network marketing, direct sales, and things like that, that I really don't like. This is where you have the tyrants. You have the people with the little Napoleon complex. You got the egocentric people. These are people who they become bullies based on position, right? But what you'll do is you'll find out that people, when they realize that they can grow above you, around you, they don't tolerate it. Matter of fact, they'll do what they need to do to outrank you and get access to the next level of leadership, and then just leave you in the dust. Okay. So when you look at that position, understand that you start there, but you don't want to leave. You don't want to live there. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, this is also where you get the least amount of energy, effort, and respect, right? This is where, again, people only going. How you ever heard that phrase that people they do just enough not to get fired, and you pay them just enough for them not to leave, right? This is the situation where they're not going to go over and beyond the call of duty. They're not going to work overtime. As a matter of fact, if the clock strikes 5, they're pretty much out of there. Mentally, they've already checked out at 4:30. That's how much they care about you, or let's just say that's how much they don't care about you, right? They start packing up their bags, start taking off their heels and putting on their flip flops. They go to the bathroom at 4:45 and they come out. They lock themselves in the stall at 4:55 and they come out and grab their purse off their desk and they're in the parking lot back in and they drive straight out and they out of there because again, they don't care anything about you or working for you. They're just doing the job. And some of you have groups and members in your groups that feel just that way, right? They get on your calls because they feel like they have to, right? They feel like they'll be ostracized if they don't, right? So again, this is a place that you don't want to, live at. So if you hit a rank because of overflow, okay, and because somebody else built one up the other side of your business with 100% of their efforts, okay, they did all the work. They know that, And so when you sit there and you celebrate it and you poke your chest out and you get to bragging and you're doing all this other stuff, they're looking at you and you've exposed yourself. Okay. It's a title. Okay. Don't go overboard with it. What you do is move from it. What you do is now you go to the second level of leadership, which is permission-based leadership. Okay. This is where it's all about the relationship and all about the connections. Okay. And when you look at people who are good people, guys, because you can teach people a skill, but you can't teach them how to be a good person. Okay. When I came up, I didn't have, and most of you who were at the Mentor Factory, you heard a part of my story about how hard it was for me to connect and communicate, repeat it, rather, communicate. So I spoke real bad, and a lot of things that I went through that made me feel like I wasn't a leader, made me feel like I was inadequate, made me judge myself against other people. But people loved me, even though they may not have loved how I presented or how I trained or how I built, but they loved me as a human being. And, me having a conversation with my coach at that time, he said, look, these people, all of them speak better than you. That's fine, but they don't connect better than you. He said, if you look at it, you can learn how to speak almost overnight, but some of these people will live their whole entire life and not be able to connect and not be a good human being. So you can catch and pass any of them. And that one conversation gave me hope. That conversation let me know that I was further along than I thought I was. I just needed to tweak some things. Okay. But this is where, people, they follow you because they want to, right? And basically, when you look at your likability factor, that's the key, right? But don't make it about you manufacturing, people liking you, manipulating people into liking you. Don't make that the main thing. Don't set out to be popular, right? You can be likable without being popular, right? And because when you work over, and beyond, and you do the most, as they say, about getting people, to like you, then people know it's not authentic. They know it's not genuine. They know it's a form of manipulation, and now they start to think otherwise of you. Just let it be natural, right? And so when you look at the people who are on this level of leadership, they actually do five things very, very well. And those five things are they're great listeners. Okay. They don't hear you. They listen with the intent to receive, not with the intent to talk or respond. Okay. They are great observers. They walk down the hallway, like John C. Maxwell said, they walk down the hallway slowly, right? And they listen, on purpose. They're wondering what's going on and they're listening for challenges and problems. They're observing it. They got their finger on the pulse of everything that's happening. Right. They're great learners. They're the best students and they never stop learning. Okay. They're amazing connectors. Okay. They bond with people naturally because they genuinely care about people. Right? And then they are servers. They have a heart to serve, right? And when you look at these five things, again, these are things that they just have a heart for. These are things that they're great at. These are things that make you want, to have a connection with that person, stay close to that individual, right? Most impactful guys. These are when I talk about they have that attitude of servitude though, when you can go out there and be willing to give more of what you request back, guys. People appreciate that from top to bottom. Okay, and people see that in you and they just fall in love with it. Okay, but and when you look at you know being kind to people, guys, it costs you nothing to be kind to a human being, but it can cost you everything not to be. And so remember, people understand that when you come into the company or when they come into the company with you, they know and remember how you treat them. And I'm gonna just say some of these people who are coming in, how you say you treat people really, really bad on your way up, and and some people treat you even worse when they pass you up. Okay. And so again, just be mindful, of that permission base. That's one of those things you want to make sure you start to build that relational credit and credibility. Okay. That's where you want to make deposits into people with no expectations of getting back. That's when you want to pour into people and keep pouring and keep pouring and keep pouring into people, period. Because the thing I know about it, guys, is that when you pour into people, it comes back tenfold, even if it don't come from the place that you're pouring into, right? And I tell my people, I've been telling my people this for decades. Look, I'm gonna give you everything I got. I'm gonna train you and give you all the trainings. I'm gonna go out there and learn and give you what I learned. And even if you don't use it, that's fine. But what's happening is you're making me better so I can become more attractive to the person who's out there looking for who I'm going to become. So I'm gonna get paid off of it now. I'm gonna get paid off of it later. But just know this: I'm gonna keep on pouring into you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, but let me see. See here, build. Oh yeah, you build it. What you're doing is you're now at this point in time, you're now building your people and building relationships. And when you do that, the business will grow. Right. This is where you start to earn the right to lead. Right. This is where you go deeper into the surface of your people. This is where you really um, get to know them, get to know their families, get to know their needs, get to know their whys, get to know their goals, get to know their dreams, right? And and just get to know them and connect. Because again, these are going to be your allies. These are going to be your partners. These are going to be the people who you end up in the trenches with, right? These are people who are going to support you, promote you, edify you, recognize you. And I'm just tell you, when you have a person that's not liked, if I have a person and I know that person's not a good individual and they're in another city or another state, I'm not sending my people to that market. I don't care how big the event is. I'm not going to put my people in front of a tyrant. I'm not going to put my people in front of an evil individual. I'm not going to put my people in front of a person who will steal from them, a person who is just somebody who is not a leader, somebody who will probably steal their people at the event, whatever it is. I'm not going to support that individual, right? I'll support the company, not the individual. And so you don't want to build a brand, okay, of putting yourself in a position where you're just a position-based leader that people don't like, right? Just hopefully you guys get some. This is some good stuff. You just being genuine, not being slick. Most people develop the likability skill and not the people skills. So you're basically learning how to make people like you, not allowing people to like you. Okay? So just know that you have to grow beyond your title. Okay. Number three, production based. Production based. This is where you'll find and fall in love with the big mo. And when I talk about the big mo, I'm talking about the momentum, right? This is where you're on a results based level. Okay. You're not just, impacting your group, you're impacting the company's bottom line, right? When you do things and the things that you do increases the amount of products that the company sells or increases the amount of recruiting that the company does, right? Or increase the amount of value and visibility that the company is using and can use to continue to build its brand. Guys, there's nothing like that, right? And people see that, people respect that, and people will follow you because of that, right? You're impacting the company's bottom line. And guess what? The company gives you more for doing so. You're impacting the people who are in your success team. And guess what? People are going to put out more, give you better energy, give you everything that that you want, that you ask for, that you require to lead them. They're going to go out there and give you everything that that you require. And if they know if they don't, guess what? They be replaced because everybody wants to be tied to a producer. Everybody wants to be tied to a champion, right? A winner, a builder, right? So if you're out there and you become the prototype with the understanding that people do what they see, as you're gonna win. As I always tell you guys, be the prototype, be the person that you want to see your people become. You never ever put yourself in a position where they have to rely on somebody else's leadership. They have to look at somebody else and say, "See what they did." You have to tell your people, "See what he did, see what she did," because you can't say, "See what I did," based on what people see you, non-verbally. Okay, but you want to be. So you got a lot of leaders out there who act as travel agents. And I want y'all to get this. You got a lot of people who out there, they know the jargon, they know the lingo, they know the language, they've been around leaders, but never became one. And a lot of these leaders are like travel agents because travel agents send people to places they haven't been before, right? And so you got a lot of leaders who'll tell you, well, we're gonna get you to build a 500. Ain't been to build a 500, right? We gotta get you to build a 1,000. How are you gonna get somebody to build a 1,000? You haven't been to build a 500, right? What's your goal? Your goal is exec 250. We're gonna get you to exec 250. In 2 years, you might not ever make it. You you're selling a pipe dream to somebody, right? And so they won't listen to you. They're gonna look at you and listen with their eyes. They're listening to you and they're saying this everything is not congruent, right? It's like when the Clippers were horrible and you had the Lakers in town, you had Kobe in town, and you had the point guard or the shooting guard on the Clippers team on the bench looking at Kobe like, man, I wish I was on his team. I wish he was my leader. I wish I was tied to that champion. He's on a whole nother team, and you got your people looking at somebody on a whole entirely different team based on the fact that you're not an all-star, you're not a champion, you're not a pro bowler, you're not a leader. Okay? You just somebody you are Doc Rivers' son, basically what most people say. He got in the league because of his daddy. He got on the team because his daddy drafted him, right? You don't want to be that guy because somebody puts you in a position to win based on your relationship, right? You want to go out there and get it. You want to go out there and get in trenches and get them numbers, okay? You got to ask yourself, are you the reason for your production, or do you have the money based on how good your upline or senior partner is? Okay. Did you go out there and build it, or did JC build it for you? Did you go out there and build it, or did Erdiyala, or Arjun build it for you? Did you go out there and build it, or did Julio Aquino build it for you? Did you go out there and build it, or did Angel Tran build it for you? So Angel Tran went build a 1,000 before everybody in the company, guys. Non-corporate, and I didn't build it for her. She had people popping up all over the place, right? All over the place. Yeah, Hans recruiting people and doing deals all the time at all deals that they brought in. Not just see, it's one thing to have a mentorship position. It's a whole entirely different thing to have a mentorship position and you bring your own deals in too. It's an entirely different thing to have a mentorship position and you recruit a group of people who brought deals to you, right? You're the founder of the feast. You're the person. You're the reason for the season, not the reason for the treason, right? And so your leader, most of the time, if you are not a production-based business a builder, guys, your leader is the reason for your pleasing. You're not. You're riding their coattails. And guess what? That's what the system is supposed to do. But don't go out there and beat your chest like you're the one. Don't go out there and tell people you're the reason that it happened. You built it, and I can teach you how to build because now you're teaching a lie. Now you're about to ruin somebody's opportunity, ruin somebody's business, and they can see it. Ask yourself, when you implement your system and you go places, everywhere you go, do it grow? Okay. If the answer is no, then you're not the leader. If you go to a market, right, and that market nobody breaks rank, nobody recruits anybody, nobody sells anything, then you're not the leader. If they're doing it without you, you're definitely not the leader. Okay. If you're doing it because you taught them, that's different. But we're talking about you from where you're at right now, right? If you go to a market or if you do a Zoom, you do a launch call for somebody and people don't get signed up and the call is horrible. Again, you're not the leader. Okay. If it doesn't multiply when you go there, guys, it's your upline. It's the system. It's okay. One thing about the system, I'll tell you, everybody uses the system. Okay, but the system it's a difference, when the system is doing business for you and when you're doing business for you. When your group is in momentum and you're riding that momentum and you're actually developing new pockets of business, you're bringing on new recruits and people can see new pockets here. This person got their four over here. This person went build a 500 over here. This person went build a 1,000 over here. You start to see it grow. Like give you an example, Matt and Roxy, right? That you look at Jennifer. We did one call. They've been doing every call. They've been doing every event. They've been doing everything. And Jennifer's Builder 500. By the way, guys, give Jennifer Builder 500 fire, guys. Give her some fire in the chats. Light that thing up, right? And do the same thing for Matt and Roxy because, again, they were the leaders that helped her do it, right? But when I look at it and say, how can I get more of your time? And as a leader, I'm going to say earn it. Because when you become hot, the people who bring nothing to the table, right? They now want you to work for them. They want you to be their employee. They want you to go out there and do all the work and all the sweat. They want you to put their whole entire team on their back. That's why keep the fire going, right? And you're going to make sure that as a leader, know this, that we watch. We know what's going on. We know what's not going on. We know where the three ways and lifelines are coming from. So we know where the business is coming from. We know who's doing the damage. And so when you start seeing these people do great things, don't come a calling, right? Go to working. Because again, they're doing what you should have did, right? Remember, you're a independent business owner. You're not a dependent business owner. Yeah, I want to make sure you understand that none of y'all on my 1099, and you're not on anybody else's. But the people who are dependent that get a lot of the support and a lot of a lot of the help and a lot of the everything they need to win are people who are out there grinding. Those are people who are out there saying, I got goals to hit, and I'm not gonna wait on anybody to hit them. I'm gonna go produce. I'm gonna go recruit. Okay, I'm gonna go out here and build. I'm gonna go out here and rank advance. I'm gonna go out here and do my thing. Okay, so check your ego and cash the check. If that's the case, if somebody else is doing it, check your ego, cash the check. It's fine. The system is working for you. Don't blow it. I've seen some people who literally people built their groups and people built their organizations for them, and they went into those groups and undid all the work that those people did, trying to be the leader, trying to big up people, trying to big boy people or son people or whatever. I'm your leader. No, that's not how that works, right? It's amazing that you'll have people who will go tear something down based on ego that they didn't build up, that they were benefiting from financially. It's crazy. But producers understand, guys, that things are starting to grow and they go into momentum. And momentum is a leader's best friend, basically. Momentum takes it, makes it a lot easier for you guys to explode. And momentum can actually solve 80% of the problems that are in your group, right? Lack of momentum is a problem magnifier. And let me explain that. When you actually have people, especially when you're launching, you have people who are shooting for, let's just say, the 2020, or they're shooting for build to 500 first 30 days, like Jennifer, right? Like Jenny. And so you go and put 20 people in business, you go put in your first 30 days or whatever it is and say, boom, this is what I'm doing. I'm running, I'm running, I'm running. Out of those 20 people, you may have 6 people to 8 people who are going to grind. Okay. They're going to get it in. They're going to do exactly what you're doing. But this is what you're also going to have. You're going to have 12 to 14 people who are going to distract you if you let them. These are people who, man, I got this problem. I got that problem. I got this build problem. I got this encore problem. I got this rain H2O problem. I got this back office problem. They got all these problems. They got all these problems. But think about this for a second. They have all the same challenges that the people over here who just sponsored 6 people, who just sponsored 8 people, who just went build to 500, who just brought on 4 and not paying no more, who just all these 6 to 8 people who are over here grinding. These are the people you continue to focus on. You put everybody else on avoid. Okay, because it's going to be the momentum of those 6 to 8 people as they grow and explode, as you continue to recognize them for everything that they're doing, right? These people are going to realize I'm in the same company. They have the same challenges, and let me just go ahead and stop whining and crying. Let's go ahead and do something, because there's no such thing as a build emergency. Okay. Every challenge that we have, guys, can be solved. Every challenge that we have, it can be fixed. And so you just have people who are using their challenges and their problems to distract the leadership. Like the leadership don't know that you really just don't want to work. You just want to complain. You want to use this as a reason to get out the clock out for the day or take the day off. Right. So again, that momentum, when you have a group that's growing, when you have people that's making money and you're getting people to different heights and different ranks, that group momentum, okay, will solve 80% of your problems. There's nothing. I'm just telling you, there's not one problem that you can actually have in this company that 6 to 8 brand new people and 6 to 10 brand new people in the next 30 days won't fix. Okay. So again, when people have problems, let them figure it out. Yeah. Let them come to the calls. Let them come to the Millionaire Mentor calls. Let them come to the solar calls. Let them figure all that out and work with corporate. That's not your job. Your job is to focus on the people who are focused. Okay. So the arrangement that I have with my business is that I have everywhere I go, it grows. And so I'm gonna keep that in perspective. I want you guys to do the same thing. But producers, be a producer. People will follow you. People will see you on social media. People will join you. People will do business with you because they see you producing. Okay. If they put resumes up on the wall of Build, right? No pictures. And they let people log in and say, hey, look, you can be sponsored by any of these people. All these people been in the business the same amount of time, right? But here are their resumes. This person sponsored nobody. This person sponsored two people. This person has three Builder 500s in this group. This builder has a Builder 2000 and two Builder 500s over here. This person sponsored six people. Would they pick your resume? Okay. Would they pick your resume? So, number four, you want to be a, oh, this is the personal development and people development level. Personal development and people development level. Okay. This is where you start to develop leaders and people, guys. This is where you pour into people, all day, every day, right? This is, I mean, you're out there in the trenches with them. You're out there hunting with them. You're there when they're up. You're there when they're down, right? You're there when they're going through things or when they're making things happen, right? You're there for them, right? So that's important. But one of the most beautiful things that I love about this industry is actually developing people, helping people create stories, helping people create lifestyles, helping people fire bosses, helping people go out there and have breakthroughs, helping people become involved into, who they were born to be. And that's the thing I love about this industry, that it's hard to find anywhere else in this abundance and this surplus level of surplus. You have a whole batch of people out there to pick and choose from. And the way you pick and choose is by letting people pick and choose themselves. But you're going to develop your close knit people, your small group people, your intimate people, your leaders, the people who you're mentoring. You're going to spend more time with them, right? The masses, you're going to coach them indirectly, and you'll find out who is trying to fight their way to the front, right? And you'll pay attention to that, and you'll coach them until they become mentorship worthy, right? And then you'll allow the system to again get the incubators and continue to help the others along and keep the others hot until they make a decision. But when you actually grow, guys, and you grow people, you grow the company. When you grow your people, you grow your revenue, you grow your security, you grow your stability, right? You build your successes, right, on the back of the successes that you create. And I'm not talking about the ranks. I'm talking about the level of personal development that you put into people. When you help people increase their financial thermostat, right, to where a person is making 50 grand a year on their job, and you help them get to where they're making 100 grand a year, 50 on the job and 50, in business, right? That person's financial thermostat is stuck at 100,000, and it can't go anywhere but up, right? If they're, again, continuing to build themselves and grow and elevate themselves. So the more and more you do that, right, the more and more you do that, and the more people you do that for, the bigger the company grows, the bigger your group grows, right? The more secure your lifestyle is. That's why when you actually talk about your focus, what you focus on will expand, right? What you focus on will literally take up space in your brain. It'll take up residency in your brain. And so for me, I focus on personal development when it comes to building a team. I focus on making investments and deposits into people because I understand that this is a long-term investment. I am investing in a blue chip stock. Okay, so when I see a Sabrina, I'm investing in a blue chip stock. I am literally getting her where she at, which is at a really good value right now. But if I pour into her, over time, I might not see it today, but my tomorrow next year, she may be an executive 25 or an executive 100. On the way to me being an executive 250. Okay, I'm not looking for an instant return. I'm not looking for immediate gratification. Hey, I'm looking for a student. I'm looking for somebody who's going to go out there and apply everything that I teach her right off the bat. So, because she's going to show other people how to behave as well, just based on what she does and how I recognize her for it. But guys, I'm gonna just tell you right now, recruitment is the key. Okay, you want to become a talent scout, guys. You want to attract better builders, solar pros. You want to attract better water pros. You want to attract better security pros, financial leaders, builders. Guys, recruiting is the key. Okay, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I don't like to recruit." As it's not that you don't like to recruit; it's that you really don't understand the value of recruiting and what it could do for you. Think about it for a second. Can you win an election without recruiting? No, no. Can you become president? Can you become a dictator? Guys, you have to have recruiting done. It's not just about recruiting into business. You got to recruit people to your side. You got to recruit people to your philosophies. But when you're in a company, guys, and you can create wealth, guys, you can become a Jeff Bezos in this situation, right? Based on recruiting and that one little philosophy, that one little idea that says, you know what, I used to not like recruiting, because some of y'all have to start talking to yourself differently. You have to give yourself different declarations and different affirmations. You got to now start to have different programming when it comes to self-suggestion. And guys, you got to start telling yourself, I love to recruit. I wouldn't do anything else other than recruit. You know what I'm saying? Recruiting is the key to subscriptions, right? So no recruiting, no subs, right? A lot of y'all are going to put yourself in a position based on how you think and your philosophies. You're going to have a higher paying job, is what you're going to have. You make $4,000 a month on your job. You make $8,000 a month on your job. And guess what? Some of you are going to come in and it's fine. You build how you want to build. You build business, but this is a millionaire mentorship call. So I'm talking about millionaire mentorship stuff. So you can come in here and make $8,000 a month, okay? Just in sales. But next month you got to do it again, right? Remember, you've been doing the next month deal for the last 20 years. You've been doing the next month deal for the last 30 years. Some of you guys have said, I don't like recruiting so much. You've been doing it for 40 years and you're 60 years old trying to figure out, how you're going to, live the rest of the next 15, 20 years of your life because you didn't recruit the last 40, 40 or 50 of them. Guys, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not necessary, right? That's the thing about people who are extremely successful. They don't have dislikes when it comes to their lifestyle and what their goals and their dreams. They get over it. Trust me. You got vegans that own burger joints because it's good business, right? You have people who don't drink alcohol who own liquor stores, right? You have people who don't do drugs that have dispensaries. Just get over it, right? Let's not be hypocrites in this situation. You want to make sure that if you are talking about helping somebody, you got to help yourself first. You got to get out your own way if you want to help somebody get out of theirs. So stop asking your creator, for a lighter load. Ask him for a stronger back. Stop asking your creator for superstars to join you. God, please send me a builder 15, a builder 8,000. God, please send me an executive 15. No, you go out there and become one and then attract one. Okay. Just that's another thing. Some people are not worth recruiting. That's another thing about recruiting. Okay. We're talking about personal development, guys. There's some people who you just don't want to be in your business or in your company. Some people, I'm just telling you, it's some people that, how I'm gonna say this. Some people will keep people from coming to the company. And then some people will force people out of it. Everybody is not fit to be in your business, personal or corporate wise. Okay. But when most companies are open, guys, this is the thing I understand about network marketing, that industry, multi-level marketing, direct sales, high ticket sales companies that are built like ours. Sometimes bad people are necessary evil. Sometimes you have network marketers who we know for a fact they're going to be here today and they're going to be gone tomorrow. You're going to be like, oh my God, give me a networker. Give me a networker. That networker is going to come over here and it's going to build one side of your business and you're going to go to build 8,000. And then when they get tired and they leave, because that's what they do, and they take all their people with you, you're going to be right back down to building 500. Because they're going to take everybody that they came and guess what? They're going to take some of your people too. But what happens is it's a necessary evil in certain situations because when people see that certain people are coming here, they'll come. Right. And then when they get here, however, you have to build relationships with the people that they bring. You have to build credibility with the people who they bring. You got to give those people something to walk away from. Like it's not just personal development. You got to give them love, a home. You got to give them results. You got to give them a bag. You got to get these people paid because when that person who came over here that you really didn't want to have them come over here, but they came over here, but they brought all these people over here when they leave, they're not going to leave with that person if they're profitable. They're not going to leave with that person if they're happy, right? So recruiting is the key. The other thing is this, the second thing is this, when it comes to people and personal development, positioning is the key. Okay. Guys, there are people who are great coaches in the NFL and there are people who are good coaches in the NFL. Okay. You got to know who is on your roster and you got to make sure they're in the right position. You got to make sure they're in the right spot. Because when I say positioning is the key, positioning is the key. You have to know what they're good at, guys, and what positions that they have strengths in, and make sure they're playing those positions. And so when I look at, the New England Patriots, I'm a Packers fan. I'm a Packers fan, but I'm a leadership fan. And people hated, Coach Parcells. Think about him what you like or what you want. But one thing you won't do is disrespect him. He's got enough rings to make sure you know his name forever, right? He had what they call the Patriot way. And he didn't always go out there and get, the most qualified individual talent wise. He went out there and got the smartest people. He went out there and got people who can play multiple positions. Like he had wide receivers that played cornerback, right? And y'all know Troy Brown played wide receiver primarily, but he also played cornerback when the cornerbacks got hurt, right? He had real smart players, not the most talented, not the fastest, not necessarily the strongest, but they were so fundamentally sound and disciplined that they created championship teams that were predictable, and they were predictable based on the fact that they made adjustments, they made changes, they didn't have egos, they had an understanding. They was there to do was win, right? So when you look at that book, From Good to Great, by Jim Collins, he said, some of y'all, you got a lot of people on your bus, and you got a lot of the wrong people on your bus. You got to get some of these people off your bus. That don't mean kick them out the company, right? It just means that you just make sure you limit or deny access to certain people. Then the people who you have left on the bus, you make sure they're in the right seat, right? And so for those of you who know the structure of my group, guys, I have a social media guy. I have solar pros. I have y'all heard from Angel, who's a event pro, right? She does a lot of events. We have people who Jeremy is our commercial guy. We have different people for different things. I have a slew of presenters, right? But everybody has something that they are great at, right? And I don't put people in positions where they'll fail in, right? And so one thing about me, I have people who do a lot of things better than I do, and I'm not trying to come in here and say like, I'm gonna do it because no, you're gonna do it because you're the best. And that's the problem with the leaders in this industry. Like you have people who the first thing everybody says when they open up a company, we're gonna be $1 billion corporation. Lie, lie. That's the most told lie by every owner in this industry. There are only a handful of $1 billion corporations. Okay. Everybody who wants to be $1 billion corporation or pronounces that they're going to be $1 billion corporation, they do that based on thinking that if they're around long enough, they just have to become $1 billion corporation. That's not how it works. When you have the wrong people in the wrong seats and you have the wrong people doing the jobs, guys, based on being in the wrong positions, that company doesn't go anywhere but backwards. It implodes, right? And so positioning, it's the same way in your group. Your group is a company within a company. Your group is an entity within an infrastructure. And so you have to run your business within this business, right? And me and Mr. Pacheco talk about this all the time. Like we had a conversation where we both of us were in different companies, and at some point in time, if you're a big enough leader and you've had a big enough group, you've been in companies where you pretty much had to inoculate your group from the company. You wouldn't leave the company because the company had great products or the company had great services or the company had a great product and service and a comp plan, and you didn't want to take your people out of the environment, so you just built a bubble around it, right? Because you understood business and there are dynamics that you couldn't control, right? The uncontrollable dynamics in the company, but that doesn't mean you leave the company. It just means that you reposition yourself within it. Okay. So again, don't do, when you look at talent, guys, look at the person first. Is that person a company person? Is that person a group person? That person is going to put build first, right? That's the person you look at first. And that person going to now go do the work, right? After that, right? These are the people who you focus on, okay? Bad people, they go out there and run, they gun, they make money. You recognize them for achievement, not for being a leader. And when you recognize them for achievement based on them hitting Builder 500, 1,000, 2,000, manager, director, executive director, they're hitting all these different things. You recognize them for that, but never call them a leader based on rank. Rank does not make the leader. The man or the woman does. You call that person a leader, that person will be the one person that comes back now and starts to retrain your whole entire company because you gave them the microphone and said, this person is the leader. You gave this person access to your group and said, man, this person is the leader because they hit Builder 8,000 and you're at Builder 1,000. And so you want them to train your team on no, that's out of position, right? So when it's all said and done, guys, you really want to make sure that you are going to number three. After you figure out the proper positioning for people, equipping them is the third part, right? So you're now in the trenches with them, growing with them, working with them, building with them, teaching them, right? And you're putting them in a position to not just build on their own and become an appreciating asset in your absence, but at some point in time, you want to figure out who your successors are going to be. Okay. And here are 5 steps to help you just when it comes to equipping them. Real simple, real easy. Step number 1, hey, I do it. Hey, step number 1, I do it, right? Go do whatever you want to your team to do, whatever you expect your team to do. Go out there and get your 4 and pay no more. Go out there and go out there and get your 3 utility bills. Go out there and get your 3 to 5 Rain H2O sales. Go out there and become a Builder 500. Go out there and do the 2020. Go out there and get your event tickets. Go out there and be a product of the product. Go out there and go first. I do it. Step number 2, I do it and you're with me when I do it. I do it. And you're with me when I do it. That's when I take you with me. That's when now based on technology, Zoom, everywhere I go, you go. If I'm doing a 3-way, we can do a 3-way on the telephone, or we can do it on Zoom. When I do a presentation, we can do it on Zoom, and you can watch, you can take notes. When I do whatever I do, I am taking you with me, and you're learning. Okay, I show you how to do it. Okay, by you watching me do it. So I would say we ought to make you, oh yeah, this is where you actually ask the questions. This is where you get your understanding. This is where you actually now, you become a sponge. Like I told you, I used to record everything my leader did, everything he said, right? And then I ask questions. Step number 3, you do it. You do it. And I'm with you and I watch you do it. I can watch you do it, through, I know Coffee did a presentation and says, hey, look, can you take a look at this, this video, this presentation, right? And that I did and tell me what you think about it. Okay. Well, I'm on a Zoom and guess what? You do the first half, right? Because you've been doing it enough. I see you get the results. You saw me and Chris Henry did what? Because Chris has been doing presentations. You saw me and Matt do one together. You saw me and Idris do one together. You saw me and Dr. Arlene do one together. You saw me and Coffee do one together. Guys, I only do presentations with people who do presentations. Okay. Lunch calls and stuff like that, guys. You have calls that have been done that have been saved. You have calls that's in the presentation, or that presentations have been done in Facebook group for the company that you can go back and watch those over and over and over and over and over again. There's no reason why you should not be able to have a conversation with anybody about anything that we do. There's too many conversations being had that you have access to. It's the fact that you are choosing not to. Okay. That's lazy business. Okay. But you do it. I coach you and fine tune you while you do it. I trust you to do what I taught you to do. Okay. Even if I can't be there, I'm still trusting you to do what I taught you to do. Okay. If I'm not there, matter of fact, if I am there with you at this point, it's because you're still stuck in step number 2. You're not a step number 3 person yet. Okay. And at some point in time, when you get so high up, if me and JC are in the same place at the same time at a presentation, unless we're in a different market, like we can't be in the same city and be at the same event and we live in the same city, that means that one of us is losing money. Okay. Now, if he's here in Houston, yeah, we're going to be at the same event. If I'm there in California, we're going to be at the same event. But If you and your top leaders are in the same city, same state, and y'all always at the same meetings, and when one of y'all can be doing a meeting on this side of town, the other one can be doing a meeting on that side of town, somebody's losing money. Okay. Now, step number four, you do it. You just do it. Like R. Williams said, just do it. Right. You don't need me anymore. Right. I've equipped you to do it. So just do it. Just do it. Period. Step number five. Now you go with somebody. Okay. Show, shadow, and duplicate. You do what we did. You showed them how to do it, right? And they showed you why you did it. Okay. And then y'all did it together, and then they duplicated you, right? Duplication, uh, when you say duplication is a key, duplicating yourself through other people is, guys, this is where you now start to multiply your money. This is where you now start to have the exponential growth, right? This is the multiplication step right here. This is where the student becomes the teacher. Okay. And keep in mind, guys, this is where, again, people who are lazy people, you'll never see them here. And just know you can't coach effort, right? Step number five, about leadership level number five, as we bring this thing home. This is the level that most of us will never get to. Again, a handful of people get to this level. This is pinnacle leadership. This is the ultimate respect level. Pinnacle leadership is the ultimate respect level. It's a lifelong journey that most people will never get to. Most people never get there. Based on the sacrifices that you have to make, based on the things that you have to give up, based on the person that you actually have to become, right? Because remember, at all levels, you're evolving into that level. To be a millionaire, you got to unlearn how to be a thousandaire and become a millionaire. You, like Jim Rome says, the late great Jim Rome says, become a millionaire based on the person that you become, not the money that you earn, right? Being a pinnacle leader, guys, have a goal to become a pinnacle leader, even if you never ever achieve it. But the evolution in you, guys. People, it will be so evident that people will have the most respect, admiration, and everything else in between for you. Right? This is where they follow you based on your philosophies, your resume, and what you stood for. Throughout your whole entire life. Remember, this is a lifelong journey, right? It has everything to do with your mission, nothing to do with your money. Everything. Right. So the decisions that you make, the decisions you make, have generational impact. Let me say that. There are people that I have been taught by, right? That are pinnacle leaders that work that have put information in me that I've used to change my life and change generations, that follow me. It's the same thing that, I have done. I'm not a pinnacle leader, but I've actually have people make generational changes, right? That's just part of the thing. It's the whole entire body of it. So you start to see some things in you, some of the accomplishments in you, how you impact people, and that's important. So you can now start to check some of these things off that you couldn't check off back in the day, right? Like I said, these you just done it so long and so strong that people just absolutely follow you. If they figure out you're doing anything, they're gonna do it based on the fact that you are doing it, right? There are people who will want to follow you and want nothing, from you at all. They just want to follow you, and that's probably going to be a foreign situation for most of y'all, because most of y'all think that people only follow you or people only do business with you based on the fact that they want something out of you. You got people who just want to be around pinnacle people. Okay, you see it all day long. You see it on social media. You see it in life, right? There are people who you idolize that you can't get within 10 feet of them based on the fact that they got security. But you want to be part of that person's life, some way, shape, form, or fashion, right? But that's where you talk about you're at the highest of highs, guys. You're a principle based person. You're not a situational based person. You don't make decisions based on the way the wind blows. If it's this way for this person, it's that way for that person. Okay. So again, being principle based, because that person used to preach principle based and found out he wasn't so principle based. It was 100% situation. It's just what he was talking about to talk a good game. Okay. You take a stand for the things that you believe in and you don't waver, guys, on your beliefs. And Because you don't waver on your belief, you protect your brand. Other people will tie their brand to you. People want people who people believe in. People want people who people follow. People want people, to be associated with people who are going somewhere in life and and that life means something to them. Hey, think about it for a second. If you're constantly getting challenged, guys, it's because you have taken a stance on something correct, and your principles and your philosophies are making people uncomfortable. Okay. If somebody's always showing you, resistance, you're always coming up against it, it's because your existence is exposing some people, right? Based on how they live their life, how their philosophies are, right? And so again, you stand your ground. You stand on solid ground, or it's just a situation where, if it's a bad toxic situation and you can't tie your brand to it, then you pinnacle leaders don't hang around those positions. Matter of fact, I know a lot of personal development leaders, level 4 leaders, who won't be in those positions. A pinnacle leader will still never ever put themselves in that situation. Okay. So make a decision to have to be a pinnacle leader. Make a decision to make that your brand, right? The principles of success, guys, are very easy to find, but they're very hard to follow. Very, very easy to find. Very, very hard to follow. Remember that people are introducing you to their world, their resources, their contacts, their families, their friends. And they want to make sure that they're not introducing them to somebody who's going to embarrass. They're not introducing them to somebody who's going to manipulate them or take advantage of them, right? They want to be around solid people, people who keep it a buck and will be honest with you and be good to you and to them. Because that's why some of you say, when this person never brought the database to the business, it has nothing to do with the business. It has everything to do with you or somebody that you talk to or led them to that they don't trust. Okay. Also, when it comes to people, period, your name just doesn't carry weight because of your accolades and how much money you made. It carries weight based on what type of leader you are, and that you are an actual leader, not a tyrant. You have people who they can't take advice from their leaders. That person's a tyrant, right? And when people realize that, they move around, right? Remember this: people will always forgive an honest mistake, but they'll never ever forgive a flaw in character. Okay, pinnacle leaders don't have flaw in characters, right? When you look at pinnacle leaders, guys, these are when you look at talking about the sacrifices and things that you have to give up being a pinnacle leader. There's no more club hopping. Right? There's no more strip clubs. There's no more, being drunk public. There's no more, whatever it is. All the stuff that you backsliding, infidelity. You can't do any of that stuff as a pinnacle leader. You got to give all that stuff up. That's why most people will never make it to pinnacle leadership, because there's some strongholds out there that will disallow them. That's why some people don't run for president. You got too many skeletons in the closet, right? So again, we're just talking about leadership here. And that's why leadership is the highest paid profession in the world, not sales. Leaders have sales teams and sales forces. Sales people make a lot of money, but they don't make anywhere close to leaders. People who build sales forces, right? Because they build people, they out earn everybody in the world. Okay. So the only way this company, guys, I'm gonna just share this with you real quick before we wrap up. But the only way this company ever become a company that produces $1 billion in profit is by is by us as a company and the leaders within it having goals to become a pinnacle leader. Everybody doesn't have to become one. Everybody doesn't have to have a goal to become one, but we have to have enough people setting the example of one. Yeah. So making a decision, guys, is very, very important. So make a decision of who you're going to be before you leave this call tonight, because you don't want to wait 6 months before you make the decision, 12 months or 2 years to make the decision. Make the decision. If you're going to be a level 4, make the decision, be a level 4. If you're just going to be a producing leader, make a decision right now to be a producing leader. Right? If you're going to be a pinnacle leader, make a decision tonight before you get off the call. Okay. Do that for yourself. Okay. And so, like I said earlier, before we got started, most of you basically, while this call was going on, was going to be asking yourself, what level of leader am I? What number am I? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Am I a position-based tyrant? Or a person who's just got position and I'm working my way to number 2, which is a permission-based? Am I production-based? Right? Am I, personal development-based? Or am I shooting for pinnacle? Right? This is the thing you're also doing. Some of you guys are also doing. Once you ask yourself what level you're on, you're looking at people who are cross line, down line, and ask yourself, what level are them? And how do I stack up to them? What number are they? And what number, are those? But I know they're producing over there, so they got to be level threes over here. What do I need to do to become a level three and catch up with them? Right? Look at your groups and say, hey, you know, this is my number. I'm a level one, I'm a level two, I'm a level three, whatever your number is, I'm a level four. And when you start looking at each individual in your group, ask yourself what levels they are, right? And you'll see why they do respect you or why they don't, right? If you're a level one, you're probably not going to get a whole lot of respect to begin with, right? Just be honest with you, because one, if you're a level one, it means you got a lot of level ones or people who are right there at the level one level with you, or people who the only level beneath you is no level at all, which means that they're that close to you, that there's no reason to respect you outside your rank. Okay. If you're level two and you got a couple of level ones, or you have nobody that's a level one yet, then you'll probably have a little bit more respect. Level threes, you know, again, the higher up you go, the more respect you're garner, right? So the thing that I always tell people, put separation between you and your team. And if you'll build a 500, you need to get out of build 500 right away, because that's the first rank, right? And people are not looking at you like you God, right? They're not respecting what you're saying. They're listening more to the system than they're listening to you. They recognize you, they clap for you, gave you some fire, but they don't really respect you like that, right? So you want to be at build a 2000 or above right away, because that's enough. You got to build a 500, build a 1000, build a 2000, and the more space you put between people and you, the more respect you have. Now, when I say put space between you and them, don't hold them back, right? That's not what you do. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is build up your people, develop your people, grow your people, right? And run, right? Go out there and run faster than everybody who's on your team. Build bigger, build better, build faster, evolve bigger, evolve faster than everybody on your team. Make them run to catch up with you, but put enough for separation between you and them that they have to respect you. Okay. I know for a fact that coming into this company, I wasn't going to get any respect unless I did something. Okay. And so when I look at, the VP position, that's a positional title, guys. Okay. But my work in the field, my work for the company, that's what earns me the respect, not my position, not my title. People respect me based on my actions and my efforts, my support, my encouragement, and my contribution to the company. They don't respect me because it's a VP situation. How many of y'all try to take your title to the bank and get and cash in on it? You can't take your title to the bank and pay your rent or your mortgage or your car note, right? Can't. So saying that, I'm just saying this, you know, put yourself in a position, guys, that when 2025 shows up, you show up before it does. Hey, go out here and start building the day, because tomorrow comes for everybody, but everybody won't be successful tomorrow. Some people, based on the majority and based on the populace, will be in the same exact place next year, this time. Okay? The masses will. Don't get it twisted. Don't let everybody fool you based on these New Year's resolutions and all these false and empty promises. It's only going to be a few people that go out there and change their life because they make quality decisions. Okay. And when I end, I'm gonna end with this. Look at that word decide. Okay. I look at that word decide. When you look at the last three words, ID, the last three letters, IDE. Okay. Which means that something has to die. If you ever think about it, like peroxide kills germs, right? Homicide, somebody died, genocide, pesticide, something has to die, right? So when you decide, all your excuses die with it. Okay. When you decide, all of your obstacles, right, die with it. When you decide, right, you give life. Remember, when something dies, you give something life. When they say when someone dies in the earth, somebody is born to it. When you kill a bad habit, a good habit starts. When you kill an obstacle, you kill an obstacle, an excuse, a reason and a way shows up. You give birth to it. You give birth to inspiration, motivation. You give birth to a reason, you give birth to a why, right? And so make a decision today, guys. Decide that your 2025 is going to be epic. Decide that it won't look nothing like your 2024. 24 died with the year, right? Give birth to a new life, give birth to a legacy, give birth to wealth. So we'll see you guys, on the other side, guys. Again, we got some hot things coming up for you guys. I can't wait for Mr. Winston Navarro, Mr. JC Rangel. Make sure these guys are going to come to you guys with corporate updates. A lot of big things are happening that I can't talk about, but I can't wait till they talk about it. But go out here and make the decision to go out there and be the reason for everybody else's season. Okay, not be the reason for everybody else's treason. Love you guys. See you guys at the top. See you guys at the bank. See you guys on the beach. And we'll see you guys at the next training tomorrow night. Tomorrow night presentation, 7 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Pacific. All right. Take care, guys. Bring guests. Love you. Bye bye.
Recording stop.